time to kick the bin. I think I've been working in the van too long. It's turned me into a right old curtain twitcher. There's just been a crash right outside the swimming pool.
And I think your ramparts are very lovely. Always give a little bit of a disinfect.
Right, enough talking. Let's get this truck snoozer up. Hi, I'm Daz and she's Bee, and we're on a 12-week road trip around France with our boys and our greyhound Sammy. Join us as we explore the history, beauty and fun we can squeeze in while getting to grips with the challenges of working and home educating on the road as a family in France, living a life less ordinary as we escape in the motorhome.
Good morning everybody. I'm going to try and be as bright and breezy as possible, even though we've had our warmest night of motorhome life on this 3-month trip. It was absolutely roasting last night, nobody could sleep, and I think we all started to wake up about 5, Phoenix with a nosebleed, and Sammy just about got through the night with lots of water sprays and fans. His fan went off at 5 a.m, so that's where we came the electricity. But we're out on an early morning walk because I wanted to see the town before it got too hot, and this is one town that you really shouldn't miss. Certainly when I was looking at the map of France and coming up the eastern side, there weren't many towns that I was particularly familiar with, or cities. I could see there was Lyon there was Lille, Strasbourg, Colmar I've got to know since doing some research. But apart from that, I wasn't really sure what to put on our hit list. Running on the eastern side of France, it was a bit tricky. So we've had to really just play it by ear and do our research on our phones as we've gone along. And I must confess, it wasn't me that found this one, it was Daz found Besançon, and I really think you should put it on the map as well if you're running up, if you're travelling along the eastern side of France, because it's got everything. It's got a river with some beautiful riverside houses and buildings and architecture. It's got ramparts and a citadel. It's kind of giving me a Sisteron vibe, but without the great big cliff sides. But you've got a beautiful town as well. Now that town is beautiful for many reasons. The landscaping is lovely. They've got the tiles, they've got the nice buildings, and even though it has a big city feel to it, it doesn't have that kind of grubby, uncaring vibe that you sometimes come across in large cities. Every single shop that we went into yesterday, because we were doing some gift shopping for friends back at home, they were accommodating and friendly and actually approached us because they could see that we were kind of perplexed about certain things. My son was trying to spend some birthday money in a shop, and they actually came up to us and asked if they could help, and that happened to me as well in the shop that I was in. There's a municipal swimming pool, which we heard yesterday was super busy. I'm walking around the parkland that's here, and it's really early in the morning and people are busy going about their day, but there isn't that kind of oppressive, intimidating, noisy vibe at all. Yeah, well done Besançon, something is working in your city. There's also another swimming pool out of town that's open in the summer months, and it's outside, and there's several pools in amongst beautiful parkland, and that's where we're heading to today. Early, by the way, in the hope that it doesn't get too busy at 10:30 in the morning. Another win for Besançon is the lack of dog poo on the floor. Now, it's been a huge bugbear of mine. In France, there's so much dog poo on the floor, and actually they recommend that you pick it up, but there aren't many cities that will give you a fine. But there's been some cities with just the most horrific amount of dog poo everywhere. So this space has been used since the Roman times by the military and as a cemetery, and here we have some fortress work, and these are classed by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, so that's another reason to come and visit. Now I can just see the citadel, that blazing sun coming down. So glad it's early this morning. The ramparts looking amazing from this angle. Now I must confess, I was wondering why a set of ramparts would be classed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site because they're 17th century, or built in the 1700s, maybe 18th century, and they keep mentioning the word Vauban, so I thought I'd look Vauban up, and Vauban is actually classed as one of the great engineers of this era, and it sounds like he was working under Louis XIV. So these ramparts were built to protect not only the city but also the canal, I think, but I need to do some more reading on that. Yes, Vauban the engineer certainly seems to be the reason why this is a UNESCO Heritage Site, and he completed it in 1684. It is an absolute marvel actually. It's taken us a good 45 minutes so far to walk around these ramparts, and his ideas about military fortifications have stayed in place for hundreds and hundreds of years, and the citadel is a sight to behold. Wish we had time to go around it today. Sometimes when you're wanting to explore a place, if you're taking a fickle doggy, he will vote with his feet, and he just wants to about turn then, so he doesn't want to visit Vauban Citadel. But I'm going to try and encourage him down a slightly different path this morning. But I tell you what, I've seen more of this city this morning and I'm really, really loving it. I've just seen someone meditating right next to the river as well. Look like bliss. Looks like every year as well a tree is offered up to this park. So all around here I can see different plaques for different years, and they're either offered to the president of Daube or to somebody from the president of the Department of Daube. Now this one is 2011. It's a ginkgo biloba. Hasn't made much progress, but some of the ones from 2008 are absolutely enormous. Yes, I wonder if Vauban realised that a couple of hundred years we'd be walking around here in the free world, admiring these things as a heritage rather than as defence. They're lucky to not live in a war-torn country. So this morning, I'd say it was about 7 something, maybe 8 o'clock, I've seen people meditating by the river. I've seen people reading books by the ramparts. And I've seen a young girl just staring out at the beauty in front of her. That's not me, by the way. And there's the sound of a man who's doing the lawn mowing, which might have disturbed the book reader. Also a man sleeping rough with a blanket over his face underneath one of those donated trees, which I'm sure you saw me capture on video. But it was a lovely warm night last night, so I hope he had a comfortable night. I think every city has its little secrets, doesn't it? Every town, every village, you just turn a corner and spot something new. That's what I felt like this morning on this dog walk. I don't know about you, but I certainly feel as I reach middle age, or I'm in middle age, I'm so much more interested in the life around me because it just feels like such a gift. I think you don't sense that mortality until you reach a particular age, and I just want to appreciate everything around me because I don't know how much longer I will have. Well, Vauban, I didn't know you before I visited Besançon, but now I know you well, and I want to find out more about you because you worked under Louis, my favourite Louis, and I think your ramparts are very lovely despite their military origin, so I think I'll go and have a look and see what else you've done. Yes, I haven't mentioned our motorhome AIRE yet. It's a nice enough AIRE. You get the usual city noise, so we're right next to the tram line, and then you get the city sweepers and cleaners quite early, but I've had a lot worse. I think it cost us about €3.80 to stay overnight because we got there probably about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which was a good time to get there actually because there was a few free spaces. Come tea time, or 7 o'clock-ish, it was completely full, but people were just using the car park. You stop paying after a certain time of day and then it's free overnight, and we just need to make sure we get going at 9:30, otherwise we'll have to pay a bit more. There's grey waste and black waste removal here, and water. I haven't checked to see whether you have to pay for water, but you are literally a stone's throw away from this beautiful view. That's not bad, is it? And my kids were running to and fro from the motorhome yesterday to go and look at what was going on in the river when they could tolerate the heat. There are big fish, and there was a little koi poo as well. Let's see what the story is about water. Okay, so yes, we've got grey waste, we've got black waste, and we have potable drinking water, which Daz has started to disinfect before we fill up, and it's free. Good news. Yes, when there isn't a little metal barrier underneath the drinking water or the potable water, it means that anybody could just rinse their toilet cassette underneath it. So if you can't see the barrier that prevents that toilet cassette being rammed up towards the potable water spout, always give a little bit of a disinfect.
Idiot warning, idiot warning. Almost on cue, this chump steps up and shoves his poo bucket right under the drinking tap. So despite the taps being clearly labelled in 3 languages as to their purpose, you've now increased the risk of a dicky tummy for everybody. The fact he's got gloves on but then sprayed bum bugs all over the tap is hilarious. So there's the little motorhome AIRE just in the middle there, and this map right next to the AIRE shows you the proximity to this wonderful town.
I just want to point out these ramparts, okay, here, they're almost like a star shape. So pretty. And look, there you go. They are considered to be a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Right, we're just preparing to leave Besançon. Yeah, Besançon. Noticed this yesterday. Obviously the heat was a bit too much for the gaffer tape. The glue just can't take it, so it keeps falling off. It fell off onto the wing mirror, which looks wonderful. And then I realised it hasn't actually, I think it's rained once or twice since the window broke, and it's not forecast to rain for ages. So I'm not going to bother putting bin bag number 3 up there. We're going to leave that. Going to leave it as it is. Nothing should fall out. Hopefully nothing's going to fall in. And we'll see how that works, because this is a pain in the backside. Right, let's go and hold the space at the surfaces.
After the failure of yesterday's swimming pool experience in Besançon, we've gone to an out-of-town swimming pool, which was only €9 for us all to get in, and it's absolutely beautiful. But, like any place on a summer's day, it's filling up fast. What amazing facilities. I just hope nobody breaks a bone on the diving boards today.
Well, never a boring day in the office. I think there's just been a crash right outside the swimming pool. A tyre screech and a bump. Hopefully everyone's okay. What a way to start the day. Well, here I am in my office again, hoping that the solar panels are getting some sunlight as my laptop chews away at the battery. Bee's inside. She's probably going to say something else on this subject, but they forgot a pair of swimming trunks and we tried to get to each other, but it was almost like she was on some sort of prison camp and I was trying to find a way of throwing some contraband over to her, and in the end I reached through some railings and managed to get the swimming trunks to her, but it looked very dodgy. Anyway, they're having a great time. The car park is completely full. I feel a bit guilty that we're spread across 2 spaces, but we were here nice and early and I think we earned it. We've got 4 paying customers gone in there, so they're not going to stay there all day because we want to make some progress today on our way towards Basel, which is a town I think just inside Switzerland, where hopefully I'm going to meet up with a client of mine who has been buying from us for about 15 years or so. I've spoken to him on the phone, I've never seen him and I've never met him before, so that should be quite exciting. I think I've been working in the van too long. It's turned me into a right old curtain twitcher. More hammock fun. So Our previous hammock on the campsite allowed us to string something up between two trees that happened to be outside our pitch. Great, but sometimes in pitches like this, these motorhome AIREs, as lovely as they are, there isn't anything to string a hammock between. So I got hold of something made in the county next to where we are, I think, down south in the UK. It's a hammock for the inside of your cab. Now, the founder of the company, Stephen Saunders of Highway Hammocks, he was a veteran cab driver, and for those cab drivers who drive during the day, they don't have a sleeper section in their van. If they're tired, they pull over, they've got a slouch in their seat, maybe stick their feet over the dashboard or out the window. Pretty uncomfortable, and as someone who suffers with back pain, I can't imagine trying to get comfortable in one of those front seats. It's hard enough actually when you feel sleepy, it doesn't tilt or anything. So Stephen noticed and made use of the door frame on either side and invented a hammock that can be trapped between the door frames and give you a level bed, so you can rest far more easily than you would do in a chair. So Stephen's design of a hammock that's trapped between door frames solved that problem for many cab drivers, and as of the end of last year, nearly 1,000 of those have been sold. He's also got another product, because people like us who don't have a truck, maybe who have a camper van or a smaller car, the hammock that he designed was too big for that, but also due to the nature of door designs, if it's sloping like mine, it doesn't necessarily always work. And the length of it means that it won't work in cars. So it has a kiddie snoozer option which fits in the back of your car. If you're stationary, your kid can have an afternoon nap in it. Wouldn't necessarily recommend sleeping in it overnight. And I contacted Stephen and said we were on this long trip, and is it possible to test out a sample? He very kindly sent me initially a kiddie snoozer, but the van here was actually too wide for that, so it's best for smaller vans and rear doors on cars. So I actually got my hands on original cab snoozer. Now the story goes that he had to change the name from cab snoozer because in America, where he was selling a lot of these, cabs are obviously taxis, and it suggested the wrong thing. So I'm going to take this sample, string it up between the two doors, show you how it works, and Phoenix in the back there has offered to be the first volunteer. So let's get this highway hammock hung. So as you can see, the truck snoozer is a nice little fit on our Fiat Ducati. The bar at the end has several slots you can go into so you can adjust the amount of dip. Because our door frames do slightly tip, it's slightly open at the side here, so you wouldn't want to sleep in it necessarily overnight unless you're very confident about not rolling out of bed in the middle of the night. It does actually say on Stephen's side that they're not recommended for overnight sleeping. It's basically to give truck drivers somewhere really comfortable during the day, so they might want to read their book, their Kindle, flick through their phone, or maybe close their eyes for a snooze. Phoenix already looks like he's off, but he's not going to be in there for long because both the other boys now have put it up, both want to jump in there too. So only got Phoenix in it for now, and he's only about 30 kilos, but actually it's made of a really thick, heavyweight material, and it's designed to take the weight of an adult. So I'm not worried about this thing falling apart at all. That's going to come in pretty useful in park-ups like this where there isn't anywhere else to string up the hammock. I just kick, oh no, just kick the bin. God, it's disgusting as well. Until our next escape, thanks for watching.